welcome to Let 'Em Talk. I'm Paul DiRienzo, and we got another great show in store for you. We have Spike Polite Sewage is the name of the group, and they're going to be playing in a moment and telling you a little bit about what they're about and what motivates them to play the music they play. And of course, I made this great connection to this band through a person who's been making a repeat visit to the show, and that's of course Liz Ruf-Maldanado. Liz, how you doing?
Hey,
and she was
Paul.
here last time you were here. It was for a play.
Yes.
Right, we were doing a play,
right.
and now you're here to show us what you do. To pay the bills, right?
Oh, right, yeah.
You play music with a band called Spike Polite Sewage. And so you guys, let's start by telling people where you're playing. Where's the next time? So people know in case we forget. When are you playing next?
Well, the next time we're playing is going to be at Niagara, which is one of the birthplaces of punk, and it's right by Tompkins Park on 7th Street and Avenue A. If you forget, you can see behind us on the green screen the address. It's 7th Street and Avenue A, and there'll be many bands, but we're playing around 4 p.m. this coming Sunday, November 17th. So
always Sundays,
free
yeah.
4
p.m.
Yeah, 4 p.m.
Free
show. Great.
show.
Good. We'll talk about that
All
more
ages
before it's coming.
too.
Right.
Bring your kids.
So, how long have you guys been around as a band? Let's go through everybody. Here's Spike Polite right here in the middle. There's Liz, and get everybody's name.
Ryan.
Ryan. On bass.
Carl.
Ryan
Paul
on
on
bass.
Drums.
Paul on drums.
Karl.
That's right. Karl on drums.
Yeah.
All right, great. We have bass and drums. So the rhythm section is in the back. Don't forget them. They're very important in a band. And our lead right here is Spike Polite. So how long has Sewage been around?
Sewage has been around since 91.
91. So you've been playing this band for a long time, right?
Yeah, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum and everything. We work with Sony, Universal, a lot of stuff. Yeah.
All right,
Howard
great.
Stern.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Cool. And so since 91, but so have you been steadily playing? Do you have CDs? Have you released the records?
We have a lot of it's online now. You can find it on streaming on Spotify and iTunes and all that
great,
too.
great.
We like our little Reverb Nation account that keeps us as a number one. Sometimes, there's area bands we compete with.
Right, great.
We're all friends.
We have this let's talk more. We have this cool slideshow of photographs, and maybe we can show it as a slideshow as we're talking for a couple of minutes and just go through the slides and people can see some pictures of you guys, and then we'll play a song, right?
Yeah.
All right, we can even play one. There's a slideshow right here. Tell us what we're seeing here. Here's the band, right? You guys look great.
We were up in Connecticut, I believe, that night.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Cool.
In London, that was our New London.
I want to go back there. That was a great
This is
place.
right there in Tompkins
33
Park.
Golden
Tompkins
Street
Park,
in New
right.
London, Connecticut. Does a lot of good punk shows for the Connecticut
And
scene.
this is Roots of Punk.
Oh, you guys look great on the stage, right?
It was around our Halloween show.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So we had
Was that at Alphaville?
Alphaville in Brooklyn.
Right.
Joy Ryder booked that one.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Here we
Joy,
are
that's
in the
great.
community gardens.
Right,
yeah,
that's
it
over,
This
which
De
road is that?
Colores
Okay.
Community Yard. On
Liz
8th
lives
Street
like
between B and C.
right next door to there.
It's our Atlantic
Where-
City tour.
Uh-huh.
Oh
was
yeah,
what I
that's
see
right.
right
Oh,
there.
I'm wearing the same shirt. Check
Yeah,
that
the
out.
punk- punk rock
Bruce
beach
Springsteen.
band.
Yeah, right.
Pogo City Radio and
Yeah,
all
Well,
those
this
New
is where
Jersey kids.
we played with Blank
Scenic.
77
yeah,
Okay.
at
great.
Kingsland.
Kingsland.
That's right.
Yep,
That's right. That's right.
And this
That's a
one
cool
was, I
show.
think, El Cortez.
that looks like Al Cortez.
Yeah, didn't spike up my fur.
Al Cortez in Brooklyn.
That's outside El Cortez.
You're
Yeah.
gritting your teeth to that one.
Yeah.
Liz was growling.
There's another
Where
one.
is this one?
That's the same place.
El Cortez.
No, that's actually, that was in Long Island.
This was the first show I played with
Coney Island
Sewage.
This was
was
Long
Coney
Island.
Island
This is
Baby.
Long Island.
No,
Fine.
this one is
That was my-
Great shot.
the former Coney
premier
Island
bass.
Baby.
Oh yeah.
That's Coney Island Baby.
Yeah.
Oh, that's on
And
Avenue A.
there's-
The guy that owned Coney Island
Damn.
in the '90s.
I don't think I was-
His thing.
That was
He
some
also
dip
owns
right
the
there.
Niagara, Jesse Mountain. He
I don't think I could
owns
dip
both
like
those
that.
places. Here when we'd work with Trauma, remember?
Oh,
Lucky
Trauma.
13.
In the foot,
Mhm.
the
The
string.
horror
Karl.
movies, the funny horror
Yeah,
movies.
yeah.
Toxic
Trauma
Avenger.
Girls, yeah.
Yeah, a lot
Lloyd
of the people
Kaufman.
that worked with me on Gotham also worked
This is
on
Coney Island
Trauma
Baby.
too. They're
Oh,
like,
really?
you know, the horror
Ryan's
Cool.
first show.
stuff. Yeah, yeah, that's right.
There we are
Tompkins.
back at Tompkins Park.
Am I in
Yeah,
that picture?
that's
I'm usually standing to the side. Yes.
Paul's in there
That's actually where I
somewhere.
met Spike. Liz
Yeah.
introduced me to Spike in Tompkins Square Park a year ago.
Yeah, we've always been
All
big
right,
with the
yeah, great.
Nihilistic
What a
over
great. So
there.
that's a good run through what you guys
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
That's very
Yeah.
interesting. So, you said you work in Gotham?
Yeah, seasons
TV
1
show,
and
right?
4. Yeah, it was good. They
Oh, what
kept
did you-
me as
what
a
kind of-
regular around there.
Oh,
Got a
you're-
speaking line here and there. You
Oh,
know.
really? Cool.
Yeah, little
It's-
small stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
great,
so-
great, great.
sitting in jail a lot, or breaking into the police precinct later, you know, which is like a childhood dream, because back in the riot days and all in real life, when we had to fight the police for protection.
I remember I was there myself.
This was the one day we filmed episode 420 where we were raiding the police station of Gotham. It was such a glorious day as a punk rocker, breaking down the gates and storming and taking control. They couldn't arrest you. You take it, and then we worked Joker's death or whatever, so we had the funeral in there.
All right, cool. Very good. So you guys brought your axes. You want to play something?
Yeah.
All right, what are you going to play?
Spike, why don't you let the one about subways?
We're gonna do subway.
Tell us about
Subway surfing.
Oh yeah, Subway Surfing. That's right. Oh, so they have a video game called Subway Surfing. They actually used a character on it that looks like me, and what I used to do, kind of like Jim Morrison, when he sings "Ride the Snake" and all that. As a teenager, with my group of punk rock friends, we used to squat, and then we found a new squat in the Bronx when the heat was getting hot with a drug dealer that wanted to kill us. So we would go. After partying until 4 in the morning, we would go hop the turnstile and get on the 2 train. And when it came above ground, right as the sun was rising, we would get between the cars and ride. We discovered there was enough room to run back and forth. So then we used to run up there and subway surf. And other people seen
I always
it.
thought of that, but I never tried it.
Other people seen us doing it. We had spiked up hair and shit.
Yes.
So the locals seen us doing that, and then they did it, and then they were falling off. So then they busted everyone, and you couldn't subway surf no more.
That's where it started.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people always did some shit like hanging off the train, but we just we were a little group of punk rockers.
I find that fascinating that we had you tell that story on our radio, on our station, and on
And you're from the Bronx.
Let Them Talk. What?
Aren't you from the Bronx?
Pardon?
Didn't you live in the Bronx?
I went to school in the Bronx. I spent a lot of time in the Bronx. I grew up in Yonkers, but near the Bronx border, pretty much halfway in the Bronx. My family's from the Bronx. But aside from that, it's great to hear that story, because everybody wants to know where something like that began.
Yeah,
And
so
it begins somewhere, right?
I get accused of looking like an LA punk when my hair's not spiked, you know, with the bleach blonde stuff. So I like surfing anyway. So.
All right. I get it.
So yeah, represent.
All right, guys, let's hear it.
Okay. Subway surfing.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I love when she says it.
Subway surfing, subway surfing. I'm so stoned, annoyed again. Subway surfing, subway surfing. Take the 40-ounce bottle, throw it at someone's head. Subway surfing, subway surfing. Subway surfing, why? Time away. Subway surfing, subway surfing. It's not a punk rock party till the windows break. Subway surfing, subway surfing. I'm so stoned, annoyed It's going down hard in the Bronx. As we went, what?
Subway surfing.
It's going down hard in the
Browns.
down, go
To the Browns. Down.
Go.
Go. To the Browns.
Wow, that was great. Welcome. Wow, Spike Polite Sewage.
Hey.
Give it up.
Right.
Oh, got it.
This is the first punk band we've ever had on the show.
Wow, well,
Maybe I have to
hey,
look back through the
Stephen
tapes as long as I can remember anyway.
Serm's got
Great
good
having you guys
sound.
on. Yeah, it was good. It was good in the room. So okay, subway surfing. That's a real New York type of thing, right? Getting out on
Yeah.
subways and surfing them up in the Bronx, so they come outside and you
Yeah.
can see people on the top.
They-
After
they
the
do
bridge,
it in
though.
Brazil
You
too,
can go
but
between
I
the
think it's
bridges.
a New York thing.
Safer after East 180th.
Right. Okay,
the
safer
br-
after East 180.
Yeah,
right?
the park.
I,
All right.
You gotta hit the
Oh.
park.
Okay, I know where that is. Great.
That zoo over there.
I think when I was younger, like
Right.
the
But
But
story
I would
was
not
like
advise
somebody got their
doing
head
it. It's
chopped
not like
off,
we advise doing it
and
on
like
this
it
show.
was, they'd
But
broke.
we are interested in all these cultural expressions, right?
Yeah.
And so great. So all right. So let me go around. So when did you pick up the bass?
Truthfully, I played. I probably picked up a bass when I was 15 one time, and then about like May or so was the next time I really started playing it. I played drums and guitar and different assorted things along the years, but Spike just was like, "Hey, you think you could play the bass instead of the drums or the guitar?" And I just started fiddling around on it. And
Right.
it
How do
seemed to me-
you like the bass?
I like it. I mean, who would have known it was, a
It
natural
gets
born
your spine
bassist.
going. You feel it up
Well,
your spine.
yeah, and like I love playing the drums, so the rhythm is kind of,
Mm-hmm.
I like the rhythm section.
Great. Yeah. You guys. The other half of the rhythm section is a drummer.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry we don't have your whole set here. It would be great if we had a bigger room.
This
But you
is
do great.
though. This is
So
cool.
it's
I love. We
unplugged.
do this all the time. We practice like in our apartment actually, and this is
Mhm.
pretty much what we do.
How long have you been playing drums for?
Oh my God! Since 8 years old.
Wow.
And yeah, it's been a while.
Who's your
I've been
inspiration?
in Sewage now for a little over a year.
Uh-huh.
Inspirations, my
Yeah, as a
God.
drummer.
I would say Charlie Watts, Jerry Nolan, so many. My God. The Ramones. Yeah. You
So
know.
how long you been? So you've been doing it since you're 8 years old.
Yeah, been doing it since 8 years old. Been in Sewage now for a little over a year. Met Spike actually in Tompkins Square Park, and he actually I wanted nothing. I wanted nothing to do with playing in bands. I haven't been in a band in quite some time. I wasn't playing drums, and he needed a drummer for one gig. It was Lucky 13, and I was like, all right, I'll play one gig. And it's been a year, and he reminded me. It like really reminded me of how much fun it could be. So yeah.
There you're doing it right. And Liz, geez, you're a master of many things. It's very interesting.
Maybe master of none.
Okay, no, master of many. I think. So, guitar player extraordinaire. You were great in that. You kept the
Thank you.
rhythm going.
All right.
What brought you to be a punk star?
It's a lifelong dream. I mean, I've always wanted to be in a punk band, and I heard Spike play Sewage years ago, and I'm a big fan. And we'd always run into each other in Tompkins or in some of the clubs in the neighborhood. And I was doing a show, and I invited Spike to be in it because my vision was like I always liked this seamless, all-purpose art in the theater where you have music, movement, and voice and everything else, So I asked him to be in the show. I knew he could act because he was in Gotham and he was very theatrical on stage. So I asked him to be in it, and so we worked together for a time on that. And then shortly, I went to Karl's first gig, and Spike was in need of a rhythm guitarist, and I was like,
Yeah.
how about me? I know music because I
Cool.
played oboe all my life and piano and stuff, and I always played guitar, but I had always wanted to
Is
play
that
in
your
a band.
first electric guitar?
This is this is actually Spike's guitar, and he's lending it to me. But
It fits you beautifully.
Oh, thank
you look
you.
great with it.
Thanks. It's
Gotta
a little
put
hard to
some-
play it sitting down. I remember I'm
pink
like
polka dots.
sliding because
It
of the
actually-
shape of it. You
It
can't.
has a rough section here.
Oh
actually,
yeah, yeah.
Oh, we need
It's
to get
like-
some pink polka dots
but,
on it. It'll be perfect.
But before we move too far on from the, different instruments, this drum that Karl's using, Ryan's drum, his djembe, and it's a lot of like
improvised for
representing
this.
Tompkins Park, because we do play in Tompkins Park officially, but we practice sometimes in the park because the city is our art studio,
Yes,
so.
it should be.
And we have a cat theme. He's playing on a cat
do
cat
remember-
scratch pad.
Okay,
That's
very nice.
that's
we
the
practice
Very musical.
This is
One
fun.
time, because they live right there, we just brought these little
Cat
amps,
scratch pad.
and he brought the cat scratch pad, and we actually rehearsed in the park. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, we don't have a real lot of
forgot
time,
that.
so why don't you guys, you're here to play, you brought all this stuff, why don't you play something else for us?
All right.
All right. So
Now we know what you're about.
I mean, this we.
And of course, you'll be playing on the 17th, right?
Yes.
We'll be
Yes.
at Niagara's.
Yeah.
Wow.
7th and A,
Yeah, everybody gets it.
4 p.m. But
Return
there are
of
other
the New York
bands, so come
Hardcore
and
Chronicles.
see all of them. buy
Yeah, the
some
New York
Yeah.
hardcore
beverages,
people
and snacks.
All ages.
that like
Free
us
show.
punk rockers,
Yeah.
at least
All right.
to have us.
So,
Take it away.
Spike, why don't you
Hold
want to
up.
say anything about this, or is it
Um,
pretty self-explanatory?
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's the other thing, in Tompkins, as things change, and we used to have this, I call it the ballet of the street, where we kind of move in and out of each other, and
Yeah.
like there's like a camaraderie and stuff, and now it's like it's a little different. So this song is called "Get the Hell Out of My Way."
Yeah. Oh, wait.
Wait, Spike.
Yeah, yeah, you said it right. Dealing with the gentrification people.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we don't want to over-explain.
Shoving 'em out the
It
way.
means whatever you want it to.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm playing a cello.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Old folks going slow, texting each on the phone.
song
Was
is
I the
actually
only
so
one that
mellow
remembered
and
to scream?
slow, but it's supposed to be about being upset.
Uh-huh.
So I think,
Sometimes I feel that way when I'm upset.
So-
Mellow
well,
and
the
slow.
one part matched it, but you know, I don't know.
Until the end. Bam.
Yeah.
All right, great. What a great show. What a great performance. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
Wow, what's the future of this band? You're gonna keep it going the way it is for years to come with the ever-changing cast of characters as from year to year. You're gonna make a record. You're gonna
We're gonna
Tour the
record
world.
these. We're gonna record these tracks that we have been working on, and then we're gonna write our little report and submit it so that people can get us the tour dates. Yeah, and then we'll travel where we travel, and
right.
you know, make sure somebody's spoken strongly on our behalf to get us
I think that
demands.
we've had a pretty good run since May. Since when I know these guys have been a year, and I've been since May. So I think that the things we've done since May, and we're just gonna going is we have this Drew Stone thing, and then a couple shows in December, and record the songs and try and cut a little 5-track.
When you guys are on the road, do you stay at motels and hotels? So you trash the hotel?
I guess maybe.
You don't want to talk about
I didn't trash any hotel rooms, but maybe just slight disagreements with inn owners, if you will, sometimes.
Getting run out of Atlantic City by cops.
Really?
I just fell asleep.
It was
I
very
just
fun,
I just
no,
fell
just kidding.
asleep on the
Just
wrong
kidding.
side of the porch on a couch.
He
and,
thought
like,
he
the
was on the
lady-
hotel
in the
property,
wrong
and he
The
was in the
hotel was
wrong
a big
side.
building,
Really?
and there was 2
And
porches.
they flipped out from that.
She just said, well, and I was like, I was
I don't
putting
know
this
what
cat,
happened.
and I
I
think she
wasn't
was
there
mad
at
that
the
the
time.
cat liked me more than her, and she was like, what are you doing on that
Bad people.
couch? It's the wrong side of the place. And then I tried to go up to my room, and I didn't have the key because they were out on the beach, which was they were taking an early morning stroll on the beach, I guess.
Yeah.
And then
we
I
had to
came
get
back
our
down,
waves,
and
man.
she got mad because I couldn't get into the room, and I didn't have the key. So then she just,
She flipped out.
she just got mad.
Unnecessarily.
It went,
Oh,
it went
wow.
wrong.
And then
And then Ryan.
Yeah, some
And
people are like
then-
that. You can't just
sometimes.
they can't deal with anything different. Oh my gosh! So that's pretty run of the mill though.
But we didn't break
that's
any,
pretty-
we didn't trash
You
any
didn't have
rooms
to
or
trash any
anything.
furniture to
So
get
I was
in
like-
trouble.
punk rock party till
Right.
the cat.
Yeah.
Until the
Just
cat
having drinks
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
boardwalk or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It
something.
goes to Sammy
Yeah.
Davis Jr. I mean, come on.
Yeah, the cat had a weird eye thing, just like Sammy Davis Jr.
Oh, yeah,
did.
They
because-
told us that Sammy
Right.
Davis Jr.'s ghost used to hang out in the building. So
Really?
We
maybe I
think
was
the
looking
ghost
for
got
Davis Jr.
incarnated
hang out in
into
the
that
hotel.
cat, is what we thought.
Right, right.
because he had a
His
messed
soul
up
was
like
in that
eye.
guy. His spirit was in that
Yeah.
guy.
It was in the
Very
cat.
interesting.
And he would, but can I say something
Yes,
about the
please.
recordings?
Yes.
Because, Spike has been around for decades. I don't want to say he's older, but, he's been around since the early 90s, and he's been recording for a long time. So there are recordings that you can hear that were recorded in Italy on an Italian tour. And that's one of the ways I became such a fan, is because I heard these really great songs. I mean, they're anthemic, well written and interesting progressions, and really, so rhythmic and danceable. So, you can hear these just by looking them up, and
The
just search-
Italian session.
Yeah.
Search Spike
Italian.
Polite.
And
Italian
sewage,
sessions.
Sewage.
If you type
Spike
Spike
Polite
Polite into
Sewage.
any
I
Spotify
would
or
imagine.
Yeah.
YouTube
Spotify.
Music or all of the
That's
Right.
all I
Yeah,
all the
so they're
music
li-
streaming
There
platforms,
are dozens of songs,
you can
and
listen to it all for free.
since Karl and I have been in, we recorded a couple of songs in a project. I don't know. If
We
Spike
made a
wants to
demo
talk about
version
it.
of. We made oh no, actually, yeah, we did. That's right.
We
We
are
did.
recording
This
Yeah.
one thing had some
So
covers.
you guys
that we
work in
did.
the studio as well as live.
Yeah.
We use
That's
my house
interesting.
as it's our rehearsal space and our studio at the moment. So
Well, that's interesting because some bands are totally live bands, others are totally studio bands, but you guys can do both things, right?
Yeah.
And, which is interesting. I mean, so what? That's interesting. So it seems like you're heading. You're really keeping this going. It's on the ball and it's happening. And I think it's so cool that you have Liz here as your guitar player, right? Because usually punk bands are pretty testosterone. I mean, like you're in the pit, everybody's throwing elbows. I remember it
True.
was there was some women down there, but not as many. Mostly watching on the side.
they get
So-
dancey. Some of the you get the crazies that like to go and swing their arms around like
Right. But I see your
lunatics.
boots, and you're wearing the real boots.
The
there.
dancing
Oh,
happens.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
it's part of, they're good for walking.
Right. So what's it
doing
like being
gymnastics.
dancing on the other side?
Oh my God, it's so much fun. I just love doing this.
We're not
and-
so bad. If when we're good, we're not so bad. The male of the species.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're talking about that. Spike, but you asked about the personnel of the band, so hopefully this configuration will stick around because we're really pals
you
and
guys
we
came
get
together,
along
you were
really
great.
great. We hang out,
yeah.
we cook and we go to the gardens, and it's like it's really cool. But Spike has had bands. He had a band called Spike and the. You want to fill in the blanks? And
Oh yeah, I had a Spike in the Dykes for a little bit.
and it was him and some women musicians.
All right,
so,
cool.
Yeah, so
Cool.
it's-
Spike in the
That's always great. That's cutting edge in my opinion. It's
You got to keep current, man.
Yeah, right. The world is changing. And so great. So last couple of minutes, how do you want to go out? You want to play one more thing real quick, or you had enough?
We could play something. What do you want to play?
We
Spike?
could play Orgasm.
We have 90 seconds.
You want to
here.
do orgasm? Let's do
You
orgasm.
got some orgasm?
Yeah, let's go
Yes,
orgasm.
Okay.
please.
all
I'm
right.
always looking for.
Okay, I have to do a little sound check though, because I can't hear myself. I don't know if
All right,
anybody
we
else
only have a
can
minute
hear
and a
me,
half, so.
Okay.
All right, let's
so-
bust it out.
So we'll go out
Ready.
with Orgasm.
Shit, I'm plugging myself.
Go out with an orgasm. The best way to go.
I put my pick away.
You want to take mine? I'll just play with my fingers.
Thank you.
I don't know, I already lost
Ready?
it.
All right,
Shit.
yeah.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
She liked the climbing feeling of my tongue dirty back and forth. The love cushion, I adore those. Cheese squeeze, 8-4-0. I never on your strawberry. As a kid, so big to live out two and I pink, one in the stink. Got that G-spot 8%. Stimulation. Swelling. The waves of ecstasy. Didn't want to play this song. Hard to not laugh. Happiness plays. But like that climbing feeling when we rockin' back and forth down. Pretty did it, I just adore them. Working it out. I'll rest your body. Rockin' on candy by the F.I. Driving with my long stick eye. Boy, I'm by your name. Stimulation. Excitement swelling. Stimulation. We got way ecstasy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good night.
Paul.
Thanks for
Oh.
all
so
being
much.
coming. It was a
Oh.
great show.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Go to A7, Niagara.
Thanks for having us, man.
All right.
Corner